Every single day, 60,000 thoughts invade your consciousness, and 95% of them are the same repetitive voices that have been controlling your life. Wu Hsin reveals how to silence them forever. When we ask what is the nature of Wu Hsin mind, it disappears. But when we practice Zen meditation, we have a complete understanding of it. The only way to comprehend Wu Hsin nature is simply to practice Zazen, to simply be here as we are. The essence of mind, the original face, Wu Hsin nature. All these words mean the same thing, the absolute state of our mind. Yet you know how to rest physically, but you don't know how to rest mentally. Even though you lie down in bed, your mind continues to be busy. Even when you sleep, you are only busy dreaming. There is always this intense activity, and this is not good at all. Wu Hsin teaches us that we should know how to abandon our thinking mind, our busy mind. To go beyond our faculty of thinking, it is necessary to have a firm conviction in the emptiness of mind. Believing firmly in the perfect rest of our mind, we should return to our pure original state. Our original mind includes all things and is always rich and self-sufficient. You must not lose this self-sufficient mental state. This doesn't mean a closed mind, but rather an empty and alert mind. When your mind is empty, it is ready for anything. It is open to everything. Listen carefully to what Wu Hsin reveals about the nature of mental silence. The constant chatter in your head is not you. Those voices that judge, criticize, worry, and analyze, they are merely waves on the ocean of consciousness. You are not the waves, you are the ocean itself. For example, when listening to a lecture, you should not have any preconceived ideas in mind. You should not have your own ideas when listening to a person. Forget what you have in mind and just listen to what is being said. Having nothing in your mind is naturalness, and in this way, you comprehend what is being said. If you have some idea to compare with what is being said, you will not hear everything, and your comprehension will be partial. This is not naturalness. Wu Hsin reminds us that most people never truly listen because they are too busy preparing their response, judging what they hear, or filtering everything through their existing beliefs. The voices in your mind are like a radio that never stops playing. Most people live their entire lives never realizing they can turn off this radio. They identify so completely with the mental noise that they believe they are the noise. But Wu Hsin teaches us differently. If you want to study Zen, forget all preconceived ideas. Just practice Zazen and see what kind of experience you have. Your practice, this is naturalness. Zen is not some special or eccentric art of living. Our teaching is just to live always within reality in its precise sense, making our effort moment after moment. This is our way, the Zen mind. Wu Hsin speaks of the great deception that most humans live under, the belief that they are their thoughts. But thoughts are like clouds passing through the sky of consciousness. The sky remains unchanged, whether there are clouds or not. You are the sky, not the clouds. The purpose of studying Buddhism is to study ourselves and to forget ourselves. When we forget ourselves, we are indeed the true activity of great existence, reality itself. When we realize this, there ceases to be any problem in this world, and we can enjoy our life without feeling any difficulties. Wu Hsin teaches that before you were born, you had no feelings. You were one with the universe. This is called only mind, or the essence of mind, or great mind. After birth, we are separated from this unity, like water from a waterfall that divides due to the effect of wind and rocks. Only then do we develop feelings. You have difficulties because you have feelings. You attach to what you feel without knowing exactly how this type of feeling is created. When you don't realize that you are one with the river of the universe, you have fear. Whether divided into drops or not, water is still water. Our life and our death are the same thing. When we realize this fact, we no longer fear death, nor do we have difficulties in our life. When water returns to its original unity with the river, it ceases to have any individual feeling. The water returns to its own nature and finds serenity. How content the water must be when returning to the original river. Wu Hsin reveals a profound truth. The voices in your mind are like individual droplets of water, each believing itself to be separate and distinct. But the wise person recognizes that all these voices are simply movements within the same consciousness, waves upon the ocean of being. We say everything arises from emptiness. The totality of a river, or the totality of mind, is emptiness. When we arrive at this understanding, we find the true meaning of life. When we arrive at this understanding, we can see the beauty of human life. Before we realize this fact, everything we see is just illusion. However, through the practice of Zazen, you can cultivate this feeling. When you are able to sit with your whole body and mind, with unity of your mind, and your body under the control of universal mind, you can easily attain this type of correct understanding. Your daily life will be renewed without clinging to old and erroneous interpretations of life. When you understand this, you will discover how senseless your old interpretation was and the uselessness of the efforts you had been making. You will find the true meaning of life. Wu Hsin explains that most people spend their entire lives fighting an enemy that doesn't exist, their own thoughts. They believe that if they could just control their thoughts, organize them, or make them more positive, then they would find peace. But this is like trying to smooth out the waves on the ocean with your hand. The more you try to control the waves, the more disturbed the water becomes. Despite the difficulties in the vertical descent from the top to the foot of the waterfall, you will appreciate your life. When your mind is connected to something outside itself, this is the small mind, a limited mind. If your mind is not connected to anything, then there will be no more understanding except the activity of your mind itself. You will understand that the activity is nothing more than waves of your mind. The great mind experiences everything within itself. For us practitioners, there is no fear of losing this mind. There is nowhere to go and nowhere to return from. There is no fear of death, suffering, old age, or disease. Since we will enjoy all aspects of life as an unfolding of the great mind, we don't need to go in search of excessive joy. Thus, our serenity is unshakable. It is with this unshakable serenity of the great mind that we practice Zazen. When we practice Zazen, we restrict our activity to the maximum. Instead of having an object of devotion, we simply concentrate on the activity we have at each moment. When prostrating, just prostrate. When sitting, just sit. While eating, just eat. In this way, universal nature will be present. We must exist here and now. The main point is to practice with serenity. The most important attitude is to understand and have confidence in the great mind. We must be able to trust the great mind that is always with us. We have to be able to appreciate things as an expression of the great mind. This is more than faith. It is the ultimate truth that cannot be rejected. Whether difficult or easy to practice, difficult or easy to understand, the only thing to do is practice. Whether lay people or monks, doesn't matter. What matters is discovering yourself as someone who is accomplishing something, who is reassuming their true being through practice. It is by assuming this self that is always with all things and with Wu Hsin that you are completely sustained by everything at this exact moment. You might say this is impossible, but it is possible. Even if, for just an instant, you can do it. In this instant, it is possible, and this is the instant. Wu Hsin teaches that the human mind is like a house with many rooms, and in each room there is a different voice speaking. One room contains the voice of fear, another the voice of desire, another the voice of anger, and yet another the voice of hope. Most people spend their lives running from room to room, listening to each voice and believing that each one is speaking the truth about reality. But Wu Hsin shows us that we are not the voices in the rooms. We are the awareness that can observe all the rooms simultaneously. We are the space in which all the voices arise and pass away. When you realize this, you stop being a slave to the mental commentary and become the master of your own consciousness. If it is possible in this instant, it is possible always. Shikantaza, our zazen is just being ourselves. When we don't expect anything, we can be ourselves. This is our way of living completely in each moment of time. This practice continues forever. Shikantaza is practicing emptiness. Although you may have a provisional understanding of this through your thinking, you must understand emptiness through your experience. If you have an idea of emptiness and an idea of being, and you think that emptiness and being are opposites, in Buddhism both are ideas of being. The emptiness we mean is not an idea you can have. You cannot reach a complete understanding of emptiness with your thinking mind or with your feelings. This is why we practice Zen meditation. When we practice Zazen, our mind always follows the breath. When we inhale, the air enters our inner world. When we exhale, the air goes to the outer world. The inner world has no limits, and the outer world is also unlimited. We say inner world and outer world, but in reality, there is only one world. In this world without limits, the throat is a kind of swinging door. Air enters and exits like someone passing through a swinging door. If you think I breathe or I exist, there is no I to speak of. What I call you is just a swinging door that moves when we inhale and exhale. It simply moves back and forth. When you are pure and calm enough to follow this movement, there is nothing, neither I nor world, neither mind nor body, just a door that swings back and forth. If you exist as an idea in your mind, the ego is a social institution without physical reality. The ego is simply your symbol of yourself. Our practice should be based on the ideal of self-denial. When you are practicing Zazen, don't try to stop your thinking. Let it stop by itself. If something comes to your mind, let it enter and let it leave. It will not stay for very long. Wu Hsin reveals that trying to stop thoughts is like trying to stop the wind with your bare hands. The harder you try, the more aware you become of what you're trying to stop. Instead, he teaches the way of allowing. When you allow thoughts to come and go without engaging with them, without feeding them with your attention, they naturally lose their power over you. Leave the doors open. Allow your thoughts to come and go. Just don't serve them. Don't try to stop thinking. This means you are being bothered by it. Don't let yourself be bothered by anything. It may seem like these things come from outside, but in reality, they are just waves of your mind. If you don't let yourself be bothered by them, they will gradually become calmer and calmer. It takes some time for the mind to calm down during your practice. Many sensations arise, many thoughts or images. These are just waves of your own mind, and nothing comes from outside it. Generally, we think that our mind receives impressions and experiences from the exterior, but this is not a correct understanding of our mind. The truth is that the mind includes everything. When we think that something arises from outside, it only means that something arises in our own mind. Nothing external can thus disturb you. It is you yourself who creates the waves of the mind. If you leave the mind as it is, it will become calm. This is called the great mind. From this great mind arises the wonderful being. When you become yourself, you understand this Zen principle. When this happens, you see things as they are, and you become one with the universe. We try and we try and we fail, so we go deeper. After having practiced for a while, you will realize that it is not possible to make rapid and extraordinary progress. Even if you try very hard, the progress you make is always little by little. This practice may not be perfect, but we have to continue without allowing this to discourage us. This is the secret of practice. Continue finding yourself in this way, moment after moment. This is the only thing you should do. While you continue this practice, week after week, year after year, your experience will become deeper and deeper and will cover everything you do in your daily life. The most important thing is to forget all ideas of gain, all ideas of attainment. When you try to attain something, you only begin to wander elsewhere. When you don't try to reach something, you have your own body and mind right here. In Buddhism, it is a heretical view to expect something outside this world. We don't look for something beyond ourselves. Our way is to practice one step at a time, one breath at a time. Without the idea of gain, in other words, just practice Zazen in a certain posture and don't think about anything. Remain on your cushion without expecting anything. Then eventually you will return to your true nature. That is, your own true nature returns to itself. Wu Hsin teaches that the greatest enemy of inner peace is not external circumstances, but the internal demand that things should be different from what they are. Most suffering comes not from what happens to you, but from your resistance to what happens to you. The voices in your mind are constantly telling stories about how things should be, how people should behave, how life should unfold. But reality doesn't consult with your mental commentary before it happens. When you stop requiring reality to match your mental expectations, you discover a profound peace that was always there, hidden beneath the noise of mental resistance. When you sit in meditation, you begin to see clearly how the mind creates its own weather. Thoughts of the past bring clouds of regret. Thoughts of the future bring storms of anxiety. But in the present moment, there is always clear sky. Wu Hsin calls this the original sky of consciousness. Always present, always peaceful, never disturbed by the passing weather of thoughts and emotions. The practice is not to become someone different, but to recognize who you have always been beneath the layers of mental conditioning. You are not broken and in need of fixing. You are not incomplete and in need of fulfillment. You are whole and complete exactly as you are, right now, in this moment. Most people spend their lives trying to become enlightened, trying to reach some special state, trying to have some profound spiritual experience. But Wu Hsin teaches that enlightenment is not a destination you arrive at. It is the recognition of what you have never left. It is the recognition that the seeker and the sought are one and the same. The voices in your mind will tell you that you need to do more, be more, achieve more, understand more. But Wu Hsin points to the simple truth that you already are what you are seeking. The peace you long for is the peace you are. The love you seek is the love you are. The wisdom you desire is the wisdom you are. This is not a philosophical concept to be understood intellectually. This is a living reality to be experienced directly. When you sit quietly and allow all the mental noise to settle, what remains is your original nature. Vast, peaceful, aware, and completely sufficient unto itself. The practice of Zazen is the practice of returning to this original nature, not by going somewhere or becoming something different, but by simply stopping the constant doing and allowing what is already here to reveal itself. In this stopping, in this allowing, in this simple being, you discover that what you have been seeking through all your efforts and struggles has been here all along, patiently waiting for you to stop running and come home to yourself.